elevated. Now it's my time to shine, yeah, let's go. Graduated, elevated. Now it's my time to shine, yeah, let's go. Major moves, power moves. Take it to the top one time non-stop. Gotta go, gotta flow. Take it to the...
But you cannot dream to be a professor. It's not. Because, if you have open position, you need to be lucky enough to have open position because there is a really restricted positions open. So you cannot never say that I want to be a professor. There should be also a position. And that's why I'm also open. Like, for example, I have been to Japan a couple of times and I want to go there and work there as in academic, also in the university. And that's also my plan. I want to go to UK and work there in the research, depending what it happens. But yeah, I want to remain in research irrespective of industry and academic. That's always my aim to be there. But if I go to industry, I will move towards management. That's for sure. I'm very clear in that. But if I don't go to industry, I'll definitely be in research all the time.
Interesting. So you just love being a part of the team that mucks up and finds the issues and the solutions. That's what you enjoy, essentially.
That's team player. I mean, I'm a person who love to work in team. I'm not a person who just sit alone and get frustrated. I always joke and say, if I'm frustrated, you also need to get frustrated. Come on, let's cry together. Why I'm alone.
Yeah.
So I'm a team player. I love to work in team because I know in team you can run faster, you can go longer.
Love that. So in terms of the next question then is, with diversity and inclusion, it's been such a hot topic, I think, for so many decades, whether directly, indirectly, through metaphors, etc. What are your thoughts on the gender pay gap? Because as much as we say we've got a lot more women in mid-management positions and senior management positions, or as a dean, etc., do you think we could do more, or do you think actually it doesn't matter? It's just your work ethic.
I think definitely we can change, but the change will definitely start at the school level. Diversity is definitely important, not only from the gender thing, but also from the nationality. I always say that the more international your team is, more diverse your team in terms of gender also is fun because there was a time when I was doing my bachelor and I did a project management course just for fun, and we had a like girls and guys together, and definitely we think differently. Guys think in a different way, girls think in a different way, and when you come together, you find always a beautiful solution. So there is always a good thing if you have a gender diversity and the international diversity also. If I'm working here, like I'm from India, working like almost 17 years in Germany, so I know both country culture in a very good manner. Same, I work with Germans, I work with people from Iran, from Budapest, from Ukraine, and from Asian country also. So they bring different thing on the table. And it's really important. And we have to do that in order to, we need to improve it, definitely. In terms of women, we need to improve it more because what we see in a school level, why you are not interested to study engineering, for example, let's say technical stuff. Why you are not interested? Because you always say mathematics is tough, that is tough. No, it's not tough. The thing is that the teacher in the school was maybe not good enough to make you interested in that subject. Because my philosophy is very simple. Doesn't matter which subject, the deeper you go, the more you enjoy. If I read history, I will enjoy it a lot. If I read politics, I will enjoy it same as I enjoy my particle temper. So it's nothing changed. It's nothing like I'm doing my particle temper, then I enjoy it more. I enjoy politics a lot. I read a lot. I read a lot about geopolitics. So the thing is that in school, a teacher should create, let's say, create an environment in such a way that the student should get creative and should not get afraid of any field, whether it's philosophy, whether it's history or science or engineering, whatever. But we are seeing it decline. We are seeing they love to use Instagram, for example, but never know how it has been done. So this curiosity is dying day by day, and it's fault not from the university only. University kill you later on before they kill the school. So when the creativity, because at that age, when you are in school, you are very curious. And I have seen in many countries, teacher don't allow you to ask the questions, and they are not teachers, they are criminals, to according to me. Yes, because a bad teacher is nothing but a criminals. You could, how you can kill the creativity? This is the age where they have to be creative. They are kiosk. Let us be in the kiosk. They should not follow everything. Of course, that I mean we don't have a better thing to judge in terms of numbers. But I always say that Of course, we have no other parameter to say that whether you are bad or good, but we should create an atmosphere in some way that even if you're not getting a good mark, we should not feel ashamed, and you should not feel happy because you got the good marks, because somehow it's come the philosophical thing, because you are happy by beating someone. How can you make you happy like that? You should feel sad that you have made so many people sad to be on that position. Of course, it's a very philosophical thing, but that kind of thing we have to create somewhere, that we should, of course, we should be happy for the people who worked hard and come further, but we should also encourage the people who failed. We should create such kind of atmosphere at home, at school, at society, which is not going to happen in my lifetime, I'm sure. So,
Do you know what? Never say never.
yeah, that's
Things
also the
happen.
thing. Yeah, maybe it can happen. So I think in the school we need to change a lot. In the diversity, we should make children think. The only thing we should do, let them make can create atmosphere everywhere to let them think and to ask them questions. When we have achieved these two things, the world will be a different place.
So, you know, from your response, then I'm going to the parents now, because as brown people, it doesn't matter if you're darker, light, cream, all of us, right? We are maybe in a situation where our parents say, you know, you need to be a lawyer, you need to be an engineer, you need to be a pharmacist, and you need to be a doctor. What's the other one? Nurse. Right, there's 5 that I can think of. Oh, architect, 6, right? So that is the vision, the mission, the objective every single day as a child until you get out of their house. And if you don't fall into medicine, pharmacy, whatever it is, pharmacology, you name it, it's like, oh, are you all right? And the community as well. So where I'm going with this is, you know, you've mentioned the teacher, but the kids, they have they feel so much under pressure that they've divorced the idea of actually being passionate about their subjects, because they're told from, you know, day one, you need to be this, you need to be this. And then the other strenuous element is that, you know, if you're a doctor, you can relocate to any country because they will take you and your family, right?
Yeah.
You're a lawyer, if you're in pharmacology, you know, I don't know if you're aware of it, but it's very strenuous. So what are your thoughts on that? Because it's a different perspective from what you've just said now.
Well, that's what that's also I only talked about the school, but definitely parents play a very major role also. What you said about the thing that even same in India, for example, it's nothing new. I know many of my friends, they don't wanted to be a doctor. They are now successful doctors in US, but when I knew them in the school time, they never wanted to be a doctor. They became doctor because of their family pressure. In Germany, it's a different story. Of course, there are guys who force their children, but at least I am not aware of that. Here in Germany, I've seen people are independent to choose their thing. But in India, it's really a lot of pressure in terms of stability. They always say, yeah, getting a good job, getting a good degree, and getting married, getting a house and car is the terms of stability, which is really sad. When I feel that person is really the saddest person in the world then, because if you define stability in this materialistic world with these parameters, so definitely it's very tough to convince those parents, because they think they are doing good to their children, but actually they are killing the children. And these things cannot change very easily because it's a terms of generation. It needs generation to change this thinking. Like if my grandfather maybe have done some mistake which my father did, and in improved, my father did some mistake which I will not do, and will change the thing, and maybe my kid and next generation. So it's, I think, will change with generation. We cannot think that in one day things will change, but that's a great factor for sure that need to be changed. You should not put a pressure on your children to what they become. You should create atmosphere where they can think, yeah, I can choose something. You can sow their path. You can make an environment that they can understand. Of course, for example, if some children want to be an actor, being a parent, you get afraid. Wow, actor, it's a tough job. I know, when it's not, it's easy to say that, yeah, let them do that. But being a parent is a tough job. to see your children getting destroyed, becoming an actor. But you should also understand how passionate it is, whether, because it's a that's why I always say parenting is a very difficult job. It's more difficult job than doing a research, to understand whether your child want to be really an actor or just he's fascinated about the glamour which is seen on the screen. And to get that idea, it's not there is no theory for that. You come with your own experience. So somehow we can create an atmosphere where a child should understand his ability and try to understand its passion on his own way, and not get affected just by the glamour that, okay, that sport person is worshipped in the world, so I should become a footballer. No, this is going by the reels. For example, Instagram reels, that 2-minute fame is destroying the world. You want to get a fame, but for what? If you run behind that, you will never be a successful person. You will be successful as different definition. Let's say you will be a never satisfied person if you are running for the fame. So a parent should create atmosphere so child would understand the difference between fame and passion.
Interesting. That is a debate on its own in terms of your response, but I appreciate your response. The next question is, do you think in academia we should be judged essentially by the number of publications that we have? Or do you think actually if you're good at teaching, that's enough for you to get into that position? Or do you think, you know, the way it's framed in terms of a package, that if you can publish, bring the money in and essentially do this, it's the right way? What are your thoughts on that?
It should be definitely a package. There are different parameters where, I mean, the pressure of publication should not be there, but it doesn't mean you don't publish. There should be always a midway. I always say life is always in a midway. It doesn't lie in the extreme. With a lot of publication and no publication, both are bad. And the thing is that when you go in academic, you have to think a lot. Unfortunately, every country government doesn't spend a lot of in their in research and in the university. They can keep saying their political agenda, we invest a lot. But if we go on a politics saying that doesn't matter irrespective of any country in the world, the percentage which they give in the other sector, when you compare with the health and education, it's much less. And that's why health and education has never given the to any political party. They can keep saying, but on the ground level you never see the reality. That's the thing of any country. So when you come, and that's why when I come as when I go in academic, I have to think about the money, because I know the government will not give me that much of money. He will give a certain amount of money and I have to come clear with that. So somehow I have to go and ask for the money. So for that you have to do good research. There is a pressure. So the thing is that you have to package of bringing money in, not always, but depends how much money you brought. But the thing is that when I say how much money, but it's always a parameter that you brought the best. But no, like getting a money in engineering or getting a money in the philosophy department is a different parameter. You cannot compare both departments the same way, because maybe in engineering companies can give you money, in philosophy no one invest the money, for example, or in history. So there should be a different parameter for the different department, for the different scenario. It should always be a package, and there is always should be a midway. It should never be extreme, that okay, just because I brought the money then I'm good. No, or just because I published 20, no, I should be good. No, it should be a team. How your research is gonna affect further, that should also be considered, but no one consider that. Research gone, that's it. So somehow it should be coming from the government also, it should coming from the academic also, and it's a very complex topic. It's very difficult to solve that. I mean,
No, I agree with you. Sorry to interject. I was just agreeing with you to say it is very complex. I do agree with you. So the next question then, do you feel fulfilled when you publish an article?
I enjoyed definitely publication, but when I look back, see my old publication, I said I should have done better. You always feel like that. You always say, "I never have done better. You have done better," but you feel happy, no doubt, publishing. But I know that how to publish, where to publish, and reviewer doesn't mind. You know how to convince the reviewer also, because a certain period of time you understand what they're looking for, and it's very bitter truth that it doesn't mean you published in a very great journal, you are good. No, I have seen shit paper in Nature, I have seen shit paper in Elsevier. So I don't believe on this that because you are published in Nature, you are good. No, there are shit paper there also out. So all these marks, because I don't know who brought that brand. I don't believe in this all branding because your paper is in Nature, you are a good scientist. No, it doesn't matter where you publish. If your research is impacting, you will feel it. The world will feel it. Of course, not in that brand, but it will feel it. It will come out. The paper is in open access. Anyone can, if you publish your paper in the open access, anyone can read it. That's for sure. And if it is good enough, if it is written in such a way that people think, yeah, we can apply it, then it doesn't matter where you published, in Nature or Elsevier or any good journal. So this impact factor, everything is so branded. I have no idea who brought it and why they brought it and what is the criteria. Like publishing in Nature, you correct my grammar and say it's difficult to publish, then we are doing science and not grammar, first of all. So it can look very good, and everyone know that you can publish. You need to just understand the, let's say, what they are looking for, their guideline. You can publish. How many people understand your research really well? So, and the people who judge you, how much they know about their research. So it's not that they don't know anything, but the thing is that this branding thing about publication is not my cup of tea. For me, publish anywhere you want. It's free of cost. And if your research impact, it's impact. So all this branding, I'm against it.
No, thank you very much for your honest response. The next question is, in your opinion, do you think higher education breaks the poverty life cycle? Or do you think, no, actually, it doesn't matter. You're still poor anyway, even if you've got, bachelor's, a master's, or a diploma, DBA, you name it, still poor.
Education is still a very privileged thing. You can of course, it was always a privileged thing. If you go back in 1800, 1900, there are few people who have broke those things, but there will be always like that. If let's say 100,000 poor people want to study, maybe 100 can break it, but they cannot be the parameter. There are people who didn't broke it, the poverty line. So we always take the best example from the poor, and we say that, okay, see, he got the scholarship from Harvard and came out the poverty. But what about the rest? 99,999. What about them? Nobody will talk about them. So this is the problem. We always try to make a heroism culture. In Germany, for example, this is not the way, but in America is the culture. In India, it's a heroism culture. I don't believe in heroism thing. So I always say education is still a very privileged thing. If you are getting education, average, I'm saying, or let's say maximum, not everyone, there will be always a people who are coming from a poor background, making it to a good university and coming out of poverty. But still on the average case, only the privileged people get the chance to get educated, and they always stay privileged. So education is unfortunately not for everyone right now, even like for US, because in US anyway it's a money. If you are not rich, you cannot study. In Germany it's free of cost, but still you will have a different problem here. In India also there are different issues. So I always say, believe that education is for the privileged. Unfortunately, it will not make you rich. If you want to become a rich, Steve Jobs is a good example. I'm just talking about Steve Jobs, but there are 1,000 other examples around the world. If you want to make money, you don't need a degree, but you need a mind. So people always say drop out from the college, but they forget that Steve Jobs had the mind. Just dropping out from the college doesn't make you a good businessman. You shouldn't be that passionate even. So if you don't get education to become rich, you get education to be a visionary, to a thinker. That's what education is for, to make you a good human being and not rich. That will be never the case, according to me.
Right. So you'll be glad to know I've got 3 questions just from what you've just said there, and then we should be done. So the heroism culture, as you've mentioned it, I think I've seen it on Twitter in the sense of, I got 10 scholarships worth millions and millions of pounds, and I can choose, right? And to me, I'm like, we don't have that in the UK, but I'm trying to understand it. So from your opinion, because you've seen it in terms of India, what advice would you have for individuals who are striving for that? And is it actually healthy?
No, I think it's not healthy. As I said, you have to decide what you want in your life, first of all. Just getting a university degree will not make you a successful person. So you should really understand what you want from your life. You really want a university education, then go for it. But first of all, I always say education should be free of cost everywhere in the world. It should be free of cost. Government has enough money to fund the university, to educate the people. There are different way to fund the money, but it's not gonna true be in rest of the world. Government, for example, in India, government gives a lot of subsidies. So if you crack the exam, you go in the university and study. But it's not for everyone, and not everyone should get education also. Why everyone want to become engineer? There's no way. And Germany, for example, it's free of cost, which I like. US, a lot of money. Why? Why I need money to be in Harvard? I can study. Education should be free. I can go in any lecture. For example, I was crazy when I was in Berlin. I got in the medical college and heard the lecture about anatomy, and I enjoyed it. I mean, I don't want a degree for medical, but I wanted to let's see what the anatomy is, and I did it complete semester in Charité, and nobody stopped me doing that. Nobody stopped me going in the mathematics department. Why I have to pay to get the knowledge? It should be free of cost everywhere. I believe it, but if it is not free of cost, then of course everyone want to fight for the scholarship, which is actually very unhealthy thing. You are giving, and what is getting a scholarship? For example, getting a scholarship from the top university. What does it mean? It simply means that your wavelength is matching with the wavelength of the jury member. That's it. Same goes with the prize. If I get a prize from the government, what does it mean? That somehow my wavelength is very similar to the idea what government is thinking. It doesn't make me intelligent or less intelligent. It's simply our wavelength is matching. I have done your guideline and criteria, I got the prize. So you should not feel very happy for the prize what you get. It's simply that your jury member was convinced with your wave, but there are 1,000 people who are more talented than the people who don't got the prize. So it should not be celebrated. I always say whether you got a scholarship, you got the prize, you should feel satisfied for sure. I'm not saying you should feel now, okay, I got prize, I'm crying. No, you feel happy. You deserve it. You feel happy. But it doesn't mean that others are idiot there. They are more talented than you. They are more deserving than you, maybe, or maybe same deserving as you. So we should not highlight all this thing because you got the scholarship, you are talented. No, because you have certain idea you are talented. No, this should be go away from the industry. I always believe in equality. Everyone should be treated equally. Should get a fair chance to start, and then they do whatever they want.
Insightful. So in terms of richness, you've mentioned that to say, you know, some people, they want to be wealthy and they want to drop out of university. But at the same time, we have this culture, I don't know if you've realised, whereby people want to be a TikToker or an Instagram, I think you touched on it, or a YouTuber to make money really quick. And they're making all these decisions and they're dropping out. They're like, I want to look after my work-life balance, my mental health. And then you have the soft life or the luxury life where people are being sold dreams into the pyramid schemes, as I would call them. What are your thoughts with that? Because I think as a generation, in terms of millennials, I can speak for them because I'm a part of them. We've grown up in an era where fuss money and looking after yourself and doing travels, why catch feelings when I can catch a flight? You know, it's a thing, it's a vibe. You know, whether that's right or wrong, who knows? But you know, what I'm asking is, what are your thoughts on that? Because I think it's a pandemic. No one wants to capture knowledge. They want it fast.
That's
So
the
they can
problem.
live.
I think everyone is looking for fast. I'm never against Instagram Reels or TikTok. They can do. There are people who came out of poverty from these things, which is really a nice example because not everyone have got the chance and they are in their mid-age 40s and something, and the Instagram came and they say we can utilize it, and they have utilized it and earned the money. I have respect, and they deserve it. The problem where I feel that just because you want to basically with the younger people when they are in their teen, they have their entire life to explore the world. You can use the money from the TikTok, make money, go rich, travel the world, all good. But don't make it permanent until unless you know what you want. That is always a question. For example, okay, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 6 years, you have earned enough money, you can do your own business, all good. But if you don't want that, if you don't want just because that Instagram thing, how long it will give you, how long it will go, we don't know. Every company is not sustainable. Somehow they come to downstairs, except Google maybe. Google is still now on the top, have been a very sustainable company. How long it will go? Instagram Reels, maybe something new will come and something. So one have to think that not everyone should need to go on the Instagram Reels, but unfortunately, it's look very attractive in terms of money, in terms of fame that people know. People are running for the recognition, and we had made a society. Unfortunately, it's a very philosophical thing, but we are living in a society where recognition is a very important thing, and I've never understood why you need a recognition, why you need to be known around the world for what. But this is the problem, and to solve this problem, it takes a lot of generation to come out of that. That's why it depends who is using Instagram Reels, for what it is using Instagram Reels. There will be no yes or no. It's not like I'm against it. It's not like I'm in favor of it. It's always who is utilizing for what purpose. So earning money with that, quick money, is a nice thing if you can make it, because I know that it's not easy to make money from Instagram. Not everyone can make it. It takes a lot of hard work. I have respect for that. People who earn money and get fame from that, like stand-up comedian and everything. But it lies in there. They wanted that maybe. That's why they came there. But people who is going for fame and quick money, I think that's not the right way, because the thing which you get quick is always bad.
No, I appreciate your response, and I've got a lot more questions to ask, but we'll call it a day. The last question I have is, obviously PhD hard talk, we're not big, we're just small, what made you say yes to being a guest and discussing your research and sharing your opinions with the PhD community? What was it? And also, the second part to the question is, do you think I should continue with PhD hard talk, or do you think Noma, call it a day? Or if you have any other feedback, I mean, I'm always open to criticism. I think that's why I'm in research, and so I can improve. What are your thoughts?
I will answer the second question first. Definitely, you have to continue, because I think YouTube channel, Instagram, one can also utilize in a very broader manner. Being in academic and research, we don't talk very often. We go in the conferences in our own zone, we talk with the people, but I think we are coming to a stage where we need to talk to the audience who are not from this field, to find it out that there is a possibility. These things are interesting. These are not just full of equations and difficult. Research is not always crying. The thing, for example, is that I've seen a lot of reels when I scroll, that some is glorifying research, some are saying that if you don't struggle, it's good. All things are bad. Glorifying is also bad. Crying on that is also bad. So we need someone who talk the real thing, who stay in the midway, who try to talk. And I think most of the people who are in research, they talk the reality. They have their own perspective. But when you want to make reels, you make for a different audience. That is the problem with me. That's why we need a longer conversations like this, where we say our, I mean, my opinion should not be like a great opinion. People can say that, okay, I don't agree with that. It's all okay. But let's talk. That's more important. And I'm a very democratic person in this manner. And I always say every problem can be solved when we talk. So let's talk on everything in research and everything. And that is the reason why I said yes, because I think it's a good way to bring that, because I've seen a lot of people talking about Germany, and all talking about in terms of money. So, of course, I know it, without money, you cannot do research. It's true. If you don't have to eat, you cannot do research. Not everyone is Gauss and Riemann. So, they are the very famous mathematicians. So, you cannot be, I'm not like that. I need money to travel, to things. So, let's talk about the reality. And that is the reason I said yes. Okay, I should talk about what German system looks like. The people who want to come to Germany should come to the real fact, and not just because I'm going to Germany, I should get a PhD and something. I wanted to put my view that research is for research, not for PhD. If you're getting a PhD, it's always a byproduct for me. Getting a title is always a byproduct. Main aim is to enjoy the research, to enjoy the journey. And that is the reason. I mean, there are a lot of reasons. Like, I wanted to talk simply on the conversation. Let's talk. People should hear and understand. And if they have questions, they can contact you, me, or any other guest on you. At least they know that to whom, to where to go, let's say.
No, I love it. I think the final part, as you were talking, is, do you think PhD hard talk is actually beneficial to the universities themselves, us having this dialogue? Do you think it adds value to the universities, or do you think no?
No, definitely it's value the university. For example, university has their own podcast and everything. But when they go to talk, it sounds like, okay, every university will talk only good thing about them. It's normal. So nobody will talk, we are bad. It's normal and it makes sense. So when some external person is also talking, which have no interest in that particular organization, then it will be, let's say, not that biased. Maybe I can be biased because I have a good experience with the university. But still, like an independent person should also talk about the universities. Like a person working, studying in TU Berlin or in Oxford, they will only talk good about that. But if some external thing is coming and they have more experience, then they can be more less biased. Let's say completely independent is difficult. You will be less biased, and I think this kind of thing is really good when you have independent thing, and it will help to the university. I'm for sure.
Lovely. Thank you so much, Braj Prasad, for being a guest, for saying yes, and for sharing so much knowledge with me about, the system in Germany, research, and also I think in terms of the wider community, why you're actually doing your research, and the impact of your research essentially. So I would like to take this opportunity to say, please do come back again if you want to, and thank you.
Thanks a lot for the invitation, and I actually enjoyed this conversation. I love to talk and have my coffee, so maybe the guest can get disturbed with my coffee. But anyway, I always say drink coffee and talk. This is all about. But thank you for the invitation. I enjoyed it, and definitely I would love to come back again when I have done something better. Let's say better than today.